There we go. Thank you for that, Vicky. So I think you signed up on May 20th, but did you? I think you missed, right?
Oh, is this the same session? I wasn't sure. Well, that's okay. I can
You
always
went
hear it
to one,
again.
right? Or you did come
Yeah,
to
I
one.
yeah. I thought this was a different session.
Oh, well, I'm trying to see.
It's
Maybe
probably
May 20th.
evolved.
We're very close. We have some of the same content, but we can also, of course, there's some other pieces. Where there's actually, I think we hypothesize there's going to be a large crowd here, but I know that you had some of these challenges here too, right? Just multitasking, engaging. So wait, so this is a good question. What did you apply from the first class, if anything? You can say nothing. It's okay.
I did try something, but I can't remember now what it was. I have to pull up my notes. Hang on. I took paper notes.
So where I play the hold music, Vicky.
That's okay.
Oh, good. Like Debbie Ann we both had the same
Oh,
thing.
the back channel chat, like really making good use of the chat on the side and not interrupting
Oh.
people.
Did that work?
Yes, it's good, and I try to remind people too. So, um,
Did you let they say something, or did they respond differently, or you actually saw that they just chatted a lot? Just curious to see what the
it
result.
depended. It depends on the meeting. Sometimes there's side questions or side conversations that are ideal for chat. Or like somebody's looking something up and we can just continue on and they say, well, we'll just put it in the chat. And then this has been less successful, but trying to designate someone to help gauge how the meeting's going in the audience.
A plaza meter ish.
Sort of, yeah.
It's
Or
really
maybe,
useful too to have somebody friendly in the audience, though, like because what they can do is tell you things like your audio is good, all right, or like if something, it's very easy for people to forget, like, am I sharing or am I not sharing? And without having to ask the question, if you have somebody, you can do that.
John,
Yes. Oh yeah,
remember
one of
that?
our friends did this. Well, Devian, go ahead and teach that, and then we'll say hi to Tracy.
Sure. So if you're talking about something and you actually make everybody use their hand as a meter, and yes, we want to do more of that. No, yeah, definitely. It's kind of hard to get your hand to do what you wanted to do, but and he had a guide, I think, on his backdrop that was,
Yeah, you
yes,
can give everyone a backdrop, and you can actually do like 0 to 100%, like a
yeah,
thermometer meter. Yeah. So good things like
what
that.
they wanted to do, if they were enjoying it. Are you enjoying it? Yes,
Tracy,
Well,
do you know Lee? Did Lee recommend this class to you?
He did, and he is my supervisor at Georgia College.
Nice. We've seen a few of you folks from Georgia College. It's always nice to see some more.
Well, thank you. I'm excited about it.
I just saw the cutest little clip on a teacher. They said, okay, well, you're going to be teaching from home. So he's like, okay, I'm going to teach from home. Well, you're partially going to teach in person. So he does this. And then they go, but you're going to do both. And he's like, and then he got like a hazmat suit. And it's such a crazy, who knows what's going to happen, right?
was that some kind of viral video, Devian?
I'm TikToking it all day now,
Devian is our resident TikTok expert, by the way. She's really 22.
Yes. It aged me. I'm one of the old, they said, one of my friends says, do you think what is the average age of a TikToker? And I go, I don't know, but I'm definitely above average. Turn it around.
See, Tracy, that's an above average that you want, not the above average you don't want. So,
Yeah.
hey, tell us what's happening at Georgia College.
Well, we're getting prepared for our classes. They are scheduled to start on August the 12th, and we will be doing in-person instruction.
Wow.
And for those that need remote assistance, they have prepared our classrooms to be able to provide that simultaneously. So
That is interesting.
Yeah.
yeah.
Can I ask the somewhat personal question how you feel about it? We're not on air, just so you know.
Um, I saw where it was being recorded. I have mixed feelings about it, and that's because I've taught online this summer, and I've had several students that have kind of dropped out along the way, and when they got returned, they submitted documentation that the reason why they were experiencing difficulties, they had tested positive.
Oh.
Even during the spring semester, I had a couple of students that had been sick, and when you drive through town, not so much now, but during the probably March, April, even though they were being told to socially distance themselves, it wasn't happening. They were gathering in yards and pools. So I just don't think that, even though, the plan is we're going to not have a fall break, they're not going to return after Thanksgiving, it's going to be all safe. And I just don't see it, because when they get together, they're going to congregate. And we see now where the younger population is being impacted, and we're not the younger population. So even if they don't have symptoms, they can subject us. And I'm caring for elderly parents. I'm caring for elderly friend in the nursing home, and I can't afford to get sick, not to mention my own kids. So
Tracy, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, no, those are good mixed feelings. So wait, how do you say your city again? Milledgeville?
Milledgeville.
Milledgeville. Can get my accent.
Milledgeville.
Thank you very much. Speaking of which, let's go to Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. Glad you could join us. Oh, you're on mute. You got to remember you're on mute. Look at what? Okay, I'm gonna channel my inner Imelda Marcos. Look at the shoe behind her. That's amazing.
I just like the artwork too.
Hi there. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I'm glad I could make it too. Nice to be here. Nice to see what you guys are all up to in regard to really engaging virtual meetings. I'm all about the virtual thing, so I'm looking forward to this.
Outstanding. Well, we got a lot of other people in. I'm going to shout out to Chris too, Chris Ulrich, who is now magically on camera. Chris, what's up?
John.
Good to see you. I saw you on the list. Sorry I couldn't reach out beforehand. I was thinking about him going, I need to email Chris. I'm like, I'm going to see him anyway. So, and hello, Nolan, and hello, Terry. I'm going to go ahead and start. We're going to get started here on time. Got to push a button. All right. Excellent. Hi, my name is John Chen. I'm the CEO for GeoTeaming, and you are now in Engaging Virtual Meetings 1. Well, why are you here? Well, you're here for a couple of reasons. And number one is that you might be having a few challenges with your virtual meetings. But number two is to get value, like what the tips and tricks that will really help you make your meetings, your virtual meetings engaging. Let's start with the first trick. Let's just get on with it. All right. And do this. I'm going to show you side-by-side mode. So raise your hand. How many of you have actually used side-by-side mode beforehand? Raise your hand. 1. These are my people. 2, 3. Oh, good. We got a couple. All right. Excellent. And so side-by-side mode is a great piece here, especially if you're on one screen. And now you can take the slider bar and you can move it left and right, and you can control the size. As a speaker, it's great to teach people this because, when I share the screen, right, I become this small, tiny little thing. And sometimes, you get a lot of the information, too, communicated from you as a speaker. Some of you who are speakers, I know some of you on here are speakers, and you can increase the size of your presence and you can give the control to the user. Plus, you teach them a cool trick. So hopefully you can use this. You can experiment with it. When I'm sharing slides, you can use side-by-side mode. Now, what are the other reasons that we're here? There are some problems online. Hello, Darlissa. So good to see you. Did you know that the population online jumped from 10 million to 340 million this month? And 340 million is about the population of the entire United States. So imagine that the entire population of the United States moved in 3 months. Do you think there'd be a few problems, right? So if you've had any of these challenges or problems, go ahead and raise your hand that you can see on screen. Right, so like this echo, background noise, dogs, cats, pets, doom bombers. Yes, Cheryl, yeah, raising your virtual hand, perfect. So we have a solution for those challenges, and here are the solutions. It comes in the acronym ENGAGE, right? ENGAGE. So every letter in here stands for something in ENGAGE. So I'm going to give you those key pieces, and here's what they are. Hi, Glenn. How you doing? What's up?
Hey, good.
Good to see you. All right, here we go. So, the E in engage stands for this: engage and interact with every attendee. So, if you start with a plan from the beginning that you can have to engage with every single person, then you'll become engaging. So that's really the key here with that. And so, Zoe, can you help me out a little bit? Thank you so much. So one of the other parts here is we'll get to this tip. I'll show you in just a second. But here in engaging and interacting with every attendee is really one of the keys. It sounds recursive, but if you want engagement, engage. So that's right. Just coming out and doing small things like this, greeting Glenn as he comes in, saying hi to Cecilia as she comes in. These are the things that you want to do just to find out different ways to interact with every attendee. All right. The next problem is this. Have a lot of you probably might be overwhelmed at some point here. Like sometimes you call it Zoom fatigue, other things. But as running these meetings, you might become the overwhelmed host. So see, I had a friend and she started running her own Zoom meetings, right, since March. And she did this. She wrote the marketing, wrote the registration, set up her Zoom room. She ran her own security. She kept track of engaging with every person. She recorded and streamed to Facebook Live. She shared her own slide deck. She chatted with attendees while presenting. She also set up and ran the breakout rooms, and she also sent up a nice email at the end. You guess what she was at the end? Just unmute your mic and say, how do you think she felt at the end?
Burnout.
Burnout. Thank you, Glenn. Very perfect. Yeah, overwhelmed. So our solution for this, the N in engage stands for never lead a meeting alone. N, never lead a meeting alone. You know, if you're on Zoom most of the time too, you can shorten this to our favorite saying, never Zoom alone, right? Never Zoom alone. Today I've got a team. Right, and so you can see some of that work. So everyone can wave hi to Zoe, or just wave hi to Zoe. So Zoe is here, and she's the producer today. So for instance, things that you serve, right? Oh, this is the new reality: is that maybe you get pet noise, maybe you get background noise. My neighbor has this amazing 911 Porsche Turbo, but let me tell you, that exhaust when it goes underneath my window is quite loud. And so I don't even know. Sometimes I have to be part of this. And the help with this is by being able to delegate some roles, such as chat, such as audio, and such as other things, security, like we're allowing people to come in now. It allows me as the presenter to focus more on you. And that's that connection piece. And again, I've got this great story. A woman with a business network international her meeting ran over all the time. And they had to they eliminated 16 minutes of valuable content. And after she attended this class, she used this one tip: never lead a meeting alone. She got 2 more people to help her, and she was able to get her meeting to end on time and include that 16 minutes. That's how valuable this tip can be. The next problem is bad backgrounds, right? I think you've seen all sorts of stuff online. Cameras too high, cameras too low, frozen, right? Bad audio, bad use of virtual backgrounds. And so why is this important? Well, because G in engage stands for good looks. Cheryl, you're laughing. I love that. Thank you so much. I'm going to lower your hand here unless you have a question. All right, so yeah, good looks. Good looks is this, 60 to 65 of all of our our communication is body language, and so we have this quote around why looking good here online is important. The background of our video conferences is key to the image that we present of ourselves. Here, I'll say it again. The background of our video conferences is key to the image, right, we present of ourselves. And so in having these elements in here, technically you can do things like sound good, but more importantly is that visually you can also look good here too. And we'll show you a couple different ways to do that. Okay, so now the next problem is, of course, people talking over each other. I'm sure you've been in at least one or more of these virtual meetings where people just start talking all over at the same time, and it just, this is the way the technology works, right? So if Terry and I, who we know each other, we're trying to have a sidebar while Tracy is presenting, and we're like, Terry, can you believe what Tracy said? The problem with that is that Terry and I are talking at the same level that Tracy, who the presenter is. It's quite disturbing to the meeting. So that's really key. So the solution for people talking over each other is air traffic control. So in air traffic control is this is a video of 5,000 flights in America. And the reason why they don't crash into each other is because we have air traffic control. So, of course, it's at the height of American air flights. But air traffic control, you need to think about your audio channel the same way, all right? And think about what are some procedures or things that we can do, run air traffic control so we can maximize the auditory channel here, air traffic control. The next challenge is can't work online. So I know people are now starting to reach a new stage of pandemic. You're starting to realize articles are starting to come out going, maybe this virtual thing is not as good as we thought it was. And so this is really the challenge with this is we don't meet because we want to have a good time here. I mean, it's nice. I like seeing you all, but we meet because we got work to get done. And so we got to find new ways to do that. And so the G stands for get productive with virtual tools. Learn the virtual tools that you have and learn how to position them in the right place to get the right tool for the right job. And here's another factor you may or may not have thought about for your group at this time. And what I mean by that is if you have a group that is new to technology, you don't want to give them, a very difficult high-end tool yet. You might want to start on something that they know they're going to have success with and then build on it. And so you should think about those things when you choose a virtual tool with a group. Last but not least how many of you have Zoom fatigue? Anyone had fatigue yet? Oh, geez, Chris was like number one on the list, right? Say, Chris, can you unmute your mic and tell me what's the maximum number of hours you Zoomed in a day?
12 and a half.
12 and a half. Wow. That's about where I'm at too. I think I did 12 to 14 one day. Look at, we don't recommend that.
Yeah, I'm wearing these things to save my eyes.
But it's possible. It is possible if you do it right way. But here, multiple people, I actually had a 2-hour meeting on a different platform and it was an intense 2 hours and we were doing all sorts of stuff. But at the end of that 2 hours, I passed out. I just literally like hit the bed and passed out. And I'm like, why are we having these problems? So I'll give you I think my top 3 reasons here. Number one is this: virtual meetings are different. We all have been training ever since we were born how to have face-to-face meetings. So we know what to do with that. But now that, all this stuff is in a different place, right? There's video over here, there's chat over here. Imagine that you're working out and you've never worked out before. So the first time you do a workout, you're like, I'm exhausted. Video is the same way. So until you have those muscles, right? You got to work them out. And now all of you have got 4 or 5 months of training. So you're catching up. You're probably noticing you can do more, but you got to look for things. So making those muscles, that's why I've been meeting online for 35 years. So that's how I can kind of stay on top of everything right now, is because I've been training for a long time. Number 2, though, if your meeting has technical problems, it takes more energy to attend, right? So if I started to, yeah, that's right. If I have video problems or audio problems, everyone reaches in and is going, well, what's going on? Why is John's audio kind of, if your video starts to go out. So all those things really, there's lots of technical problems that can happen, and your attendees will spend more energy to attend if you do have them. And then the last one is if you're just not engaged. If I go and I talk like, or even worse, Teresa, I know you don't have your video on, but now we're going to teach 60 minutes of the, thank you very much. Good. I got Teresa to laugh. So yeah, so if you're not engaged, it takes more energy to be present. And so that's really the key. So that's why I think there's a lot of Zoom fatigue. I have seen meetings go 2 hours and with 100% engagement. People tell me afterwards, people want it to be engaging, right? It's just like, Glenn, you're a speaker, right? Nobody wants us to be a terrible speaker because nobody wants to sit through 60 minutes of a terrible speaker. So they want the meeting to be engaging, but when it's not, it hurts. It just flat out hurts. So our last solution in the E for engage is this: E, engage. End your meeting on a high note. Okay, end your meeting on a high note. So architect high notes in your meeting, but make sure you plan when you're planning to find a way to end your meeting on a high note. Now, why is this important? Well, we went to product marketing research and we said this: in a 60-minute demo, if you do something in the last 5 minutes that's a high note with that product, you're more likely to buy. Right? And so your meeting is exactly the same way. So if you do something on a high note at the end of the meeting, people are more likely to show up and then show up prepared and show up excited to come to your meeting. So end your meeting on a high note. All right. Those are the 6 things that we're going to teach. Now let's put them into practice. I'm going to establish, Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, great. Well, I was like, where am I? I'm on planet Earth in Seattle, Washington. Okay, I'm going to establish a speaking rule. If you're visual, right, raise your hand. So everyone just practice raising your hand. I'm not going to call you yet. There you go. 1, 2, 3. So almost got everybody. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Darlisa. Excellent. Cecilia. Okay, great. So if you want to go, if you want to talk, raise your hand. If not, if you goes, those of you who are not on camera, Austin, not going to call any names, Austin, unmute and you can say your name or, all right, Austin's got mask on. That's perfect. So you can unmute and say your name or you can raise your virtual hand, which I believe that Cheryl already found. So if 2 or more people go, I'm going to acknowledge everybody and establish an order. So now using the speaker rule, we're going to have everyone introduce themselves. We got a lot of people, so we're just trying to make it quick or expeditious. Your name, your location, one problem with your virtual meeting. So I'll give you an example. I raised my hand. I said, okay, cool. Go ahead, John. Hey, I'm John Chen from Seattle, Washington. And my one problem with this virtual meeting, I have to get you to remember 6 things before the end of 60 minutes. How am I going to do that? Whew. I know you're all paying attention or took notes. So now let's come here to the group and let's see who would like to go first. Let's go to Glenn and then Austin.
I'm Glenn Thayer. I'm in Denver, Colorado. And the biggest issue with virtual meetings are that my clients want to duplicate an online, a face-to-face meeting online without realizing that they're actually producing a broadcast.
8 hours?
I take a 4-day conference, 8 hours a day, and put it online.
Yeah. Okay. So Glenn, I'll help you out with that right now, which is like, I do believe the first thing here is to reduce those limits. And we can tell you one of our very, very good friends went to a 2-day, 8-hour conference where they just tried to transplant it online. And she also passed out the first day. Like 4 o'clock, they logged off. Boom, she hit the bed, did not wake up to the next day. It was so exhausting. It's an unpleasant experience. So I'll give you with that. Now tell your client, go ahead and do it. Just kidding.
Just go ahead and do it. That's fine.
Thanks, Glenn. Let's go to Austin and then we'll go to Cecilia.
Sure. What's up, guys? My name's Austin. I'm from Bothell, Washington. Probably one of the biggest struggles I have is I leave a lot of the virtual meetings myself, and my chat room gets filled up with a lot of questions and a lot of chats, and just being able to answer that during the presentations I find to be quite difficult.
Excellent, Austin. As you can well tell, if anybody wants to chat right now, Austin, go chat something to Zoe. And you'll see how, or you can chat something to me, and the miracle is that Zoe will answer it. And that's one of the ways, especially if I chat. The other part I would like to say about chat is if any of you have been watching like twitch.tv or some of the other things that the younger generation is using, they have chat streams that move super fast. Like you almost can't read anything, but I will tell you this. One is, number one, they're engaged. And number two is that I've watched them and I'm like, you can kind of get a sense of what's going on or what they're talking about if you just kind of look at a couple chats. So I'd rather have a chat that is moving than a chat that is not engaged. And if it moves that fast, right, don't worry about it. That's a good thing because, you know, especially if you have a younger generation crowd, that means they are engaged. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Austin. Let's go to Cecilia.
Hi, I'm Cecilia, based in Vancouver, Canada. And my challenge is to build on what's been shared already about having a producer on the call. And I've run meetings where I did have support, but I find that it's challenging to enroll somebody to just be in the background and know what I want to do and how I want to lead it. And so you're very lucky to have Zoe.
Yeah,
How do I get my own Zoe?
Zoe will answer that in the chat. How do I get my own Zoe? I want a Zoe. It's really great because it's not enough to have a producer. What you don't see, a lot of us are meeting planners. Like, thank you, Terry, for being here. Terry's one of our members of Meetings Professional International. And it's the meeting before the meeting that's the most powerful meeting, right? Zoe and I spend time before this. She almost knows everything that I'm going to do, right? Even if I go off track. And so that allows her, and we have some tracks for that. And so we're a team, meaning that she knows what's going on and she knows how to best support that. And that's what you need in a producer. It's not enough to just have a body there. It's to have a body that's helping you do things to support you and also knows how to do things in the event that you need to go in a different direction. So thank you for that, Cecilia. Who would like to go next? Let's go to Chris and then Vicky and then Brad.
I'm Chris Ulrich, live in Washington, D.C. And I think, John, one of the biggest challenges is I do a lot of improv classes, and those I've kind of figured out and use a lot of what you're talking about here. But on the, I did a 6-hour facilitation, and sometimes the technology of moving people in and out of breakout groups. And yeah, I'd love to have a producer, yet at the same time, juggling a lot has been the biggest challenge. And sometimes it gets in my way of then thinking, okay, where do I want to take these guys next?
Yeah, every time when you're producing, and I have to do a little producing still here myself, but you disconnect from the group. Right. So if I got to go here and you see me like this, this is the worst problem too, right? You have to think cinematically, which is like, if I'm doing this and I'm still trying to help you, I'm doing something helpful. You guys don't know. You're like, man, is John reading his email? Man, who's he texting? Is he ordering out for dinner? Right. So this is really the key with that, Chris, is to, again, find producer. This is great that this never lead a meeting alone principle has turned out to be probably the number 2 out of the 6 things that people use and get a result out of. Let's go to Vicky from Weyerhaeuser. Hi, Vicky.
Yeah, I would add for a hint, when I do have to take notes to my own meeting, I try to put my notes up right under the camera so that I'm at least looking more or less in the right place.
Yes.
Just a quickie hint. And then my biggest issue right now is we are switching technologies from Zoom, Skype to Teams.
Yes.
Pretty adept at Skype. Learning Teams, but every once in a while something happens, like some people have difficulty with they tend to call in, and right now you can't, I don't know if you have to have a different license or what, but calling in from their cell, not very easy right now, and just other technical, I haven't learned the quick troubleshooting quite yet, so that's one issue, but just generally finding my way around where things are.
Yeah, take the time to learn your tool, whatever it is. Teams is pretty adept too. And what Teams is actually best at is everything actually around its video. That's the amazing part, is because it has ways for you to organize your work. So I actually did an entire work project in Teams, and that's where I feel its power is at. Also, Teams is growing too. About the same, Teams is growing about 30 to 40%. And so you really want to watch for that. You want to keep an eye on Teams. You never know. I think, it has possibilities of passing Zoom in other locations. So again, keep an eye on it. One of the, here's a side tip, Vicky. Great is the Microsoft Teams blog will help you see what new features are coming up. Right? Go search for it. I don't have the URL handy, but I do know that I've been keeping an eye on it. Okay, let's see. Brad.
Hi. So I have a part-time contract with a training company, and they've moved everything from, in the real world online in half the time. My problem is their solution to cutting the time in half is to remove half the content and 3/4 of the slides. So they're actually taking away energy. And I know that to do virtual training, you need to bring more energy to it, more visuals, more slides, more things happening just to keep people's attention.
What are you going to do?
I'm not quite sure. I'm probably going to sneak in more energy without them looking.
Perfect. Yeah. It's like the work problem that we had pre-pandemic, right? Is like do more with less. And so, but there is some amazing parts around here I think that you can do with video. So we'll make sure and hit on those tips. I think I saw Terry. So go ahead, Terry.
I'm Terry Ostack from Linwood, Washington. And I guess, the challenge that I'm really seeing a lot lately is in trying to keep a meeting interactive and working with other people who are on the call, asking people to share screens, share different slides or pictures, photos, what have you, and just running into problems with delays, people not knowing how to find their screen, things showing up on the screen very small and unintelligible. So just really kind of trying to overcome some of that.
Yeah, you have to know that if you start using a feature of video, of any video platform, that you might have to go into IT mode, right? Which is just help them along, right? And look for positive examples, and then sometimes go one at a time. What I like to tell people too, Terry, if you're going to meet with these people multiple times during a program, think about going slow to go fast. And what I mean by that is teach these skills and allow yourself extra time, right? And and do all the screenshots. Even that, I know you can still fail, but as people get more used to it, then you can go faster later. Right. And once be very careful about introducing a new tool, because every time you introduce a new tool, you're going to slow the group down for a period of time until they get used to it, and then they get back onto it. Cool. Thanks, Terry. Let's see who else would like to go. Let's go to Darlisa. And a reminder for my people who are not on camera, make sure you either raise your virtual hand or unmute and say your name. Okay, Darlisa, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Darlisa Cahoon, and I work for the Port of Seattle. I'm in training and development there. And probably my biggest challenge is, like Vicky, we recently, just like after the pandemic started, we switched over to Teams. And I have to do a lot of virtual sessions that include people that are not on the teams. They're from, outside the organization. And so we don't have features like the way that you can kind of finagle breakout groups and stuff. So I'm really kind of limited as to what I can do. So my goal is to really find more and more different kinds of activities that you can do, just really kind of low tech on virtual meetings.
Cool. Low tech, but activities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see me demonstrate some of them here, and then I've got a list of a whole bunch of others that you can use. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Who else would like to go? I've got Nolan. Thank you so much.
Nolan White, Millersville, Georgia. Teach at Georgia College. One of the challenges that I'm facing right now is we're preparing for face-to-face classes with the reality possibly being that we'll have to go completely back online. And so having students from first-year students to senior level students, different classes, different goals, different typical formats, and trying to engage all of them in a way that we're all benefiting from the time together. So,
perfect. Nolan, we're going to do this. But speaking of benefit, can you randomly pick a book off your shelf and just share the title of the book? Look at this bookshelf. That's the most amazing bookshelf. Yeah, I'm serious.
One of the things I'm doing is I'm breaking the virtual background rule because I'm having way too much stuff there. So.
Oh no, but the books are good. But this is a trick that one of my friends taught me. So random book. Just tell us the title.
Theories and Practice of Counseling and Psychotherapy. So.
Ooh, wow, excellent. All right, thank you so much, Nolan. Let's see who else would like to go.
I'll go.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Okay, I'm Cheryl Vargas. I'm owner of Art Studio 928 in Oak Park, Illinois. We do virtual meetings 3 or 4 times a week, and actually they're not meetings per se, they're painting sessions. We do virtual art events for corporate entities and for people who want to have birthday parties and different types of events to alleviate the boredom that they're experiencing. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know I had a problem till today, listening to John. I think my biggest challenge is probably training participants on the little subtleties of Zoom, like how to get this multi-screen thing going and then the side-by-side. And I was just thinking, a video that I could send to them prior would be pretty cool. Something real kind of quick and informative. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like how to best prepare for, an RDO Studio 928 experience, right?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. You can use it. And so they're so easy to make video now. So that's really one of the keys. That's a big help. The other part too, Cheryl, is like I said, I'm going to go back to this belief. The meeting before the meeting and the meeting after the meeting is the most important meeting. And what I mean by that is open your class, if you can, open your classes 30 minutes early and ask those who are new or are challenged to come in. And it allows you to actually then help them with these things and do it before your class starts so that once your class starts, right, you can get on. So those of you who logged in early, I know a few of you, Tracy, gold star. They got extra content, right? First, we checked a bunch of things with them, right, Vicky? And then we were able to get some extra content in before we start. So that's a great tip. And I use it on almost all my meetings that I have. Okay, who else would like to go? I know there's a few more of you. Let's go to Tracy.
Good afternoon again. My name is Tracy Butts. I also teach at Georgia College and State University in Milledgeville, Georgia. I think one of my biggest problems is not being as familiar with some of the virtual platforms that are available. So I've been using this time to try to get more comfortable with Zoom and WebEx and other platforms. So as I experience difficulties with those that are participating, I will be in a better position to help direct them in order to keep them engaged.
Yeah, thank you for that, Tracy. If you have the benefit, pick one. If you do not have the benefit, explore your tool and explore it long before you have students there. That's what we consistently test things out. Thank you so much, Debbie.
Also, you want to know how to operate the different platforms. because if somebody has an iPad or if somebody has a PC or if somebody has a Mac, it operates differently, and we sometimes lose the perspective of that. That's all. My dog's barking.
It's my turn, says Devian's dog. Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Devian. Okay. Zoe, how are we doing? Did we get everyone on screen?
Let's see.
Oh, Catherine hasn't gone. I'm pretty sure. Oh, look, she was waiting. She's like, does he know? I can see that. It looks almost like the Academy Award. I see you, Catherine.
I tried. Most of our problems, I guess, are more technical. I'm Catherine Turton. I work for the National Park Service, and some of us are way out in the remote sections of our country, and we lose them periodically, and we're on teams. The sound quality isn't always great. We speak over one another quite a bit. But the new challenge is presenting our programs to a virtual audience. You're not going and touring a historic site anymore. So how do we be more engaging with people that are just visiting online, and how might we do facilitated dialogues with people?
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Catherine. And I know your audience quite a bit. They're great in person, but some of the personalities or personality styles aren't yet adapted at this. You know, it turns into like we're presenting, right? It's a little bit like being on TV, and they felt way more comfortable being in front of people than on a camera. So that's something that you need to learn with and work with. Excellent. April, you showed up. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm with the Corps of Engineers in New Orleans. We, like everyone else, got thrust into this environment of having to work virtually, and meetings. We have many tools, and unfortunately, some have their plus and minuses. We use WebEx mostly, but we also actually are not allowed to use Zoom. I just figured out how to use Zoom for this meeting, but I like Skype, and I think we're moving to the Microsoft Teams. So there's just like a million different tools, and it would be nice to like pick one so that you're, like you said, that learning curve can get we can get over that hump. But right now we just are trying on a whole bunch of stuff and not being very efficient at any of them.
Excellent. So you're like tools of many, but master of none.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yes.
Stay unmuted.
Very shallow depth.
Shallow depth. Okay, April, where are you calling in from today?
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Oh, New Orleans. One of my favorite cities. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. Let's see. Who else hasn't gone yet? Let's check in with a few of our other people who are on video. Kurt, are you there? And Lauren, are you there?
There's two Laurens.
There's two Laurens. Lauren D and Lauren H. And Cecilia. Cecilia, have you had a chance to introduce yourself? Let's go to Lauren. Go ahead, Lauren, and then we'll go to Cecilia.
Okay, this is Lauren Diarman. I am also at the Corps in New Orleans with April and the other Lauren. And she kind of highlighted on our problems, definitely, technical and trying to figure them all out. And it's just, it's a lot. We're getting there.
It's a lot. What am I going to do with that? It's a lot. I'm just going to hold on to that.
I think the worst thing is,
yeah,
I think the worst problem is, trying to if you have a few, maybe 4 or 5 people on the call, it's okay. But once you start to kind of get past that, it starts to get to be kind of a little bit of chaos.
Yeah, exactly. So let's watch as we go through some of these. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. And then Cecilia, go ahead.
I've shared already, John.
Oh, you did go. Oh, look at it. You're way ahead. Okay, great. I'm just checking in. And then Zoe, April is working with the Corps of Engineers. Okay, moving on. So if you didn't get a chance to intro, oh, good, Teresa, there you are. Good catch.
Hey. So I think my biggest challenge is that I'm alternating between presenting and attending, and I'm alternating between presenting from my company and facilitating with another company. And so I'm constantly juggling Zooms. And let's not even talk about lunch, which is right here.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's juggling back and forth between host systems, I guess is a good way to put it.
No, that's good. So Teresa, just schedule like this is almost pandemic advice at this part, which is, know your roles. So for all of us, when we have things, again, when we meet early, sometimes that's grounding time. When we log in 30 minutes before all of you get here, we're just like, what program am I on? Do I have the right slide deck? It's very easy to get lost. Wait, is it Tuesday? No, is it Thursday? Right. But recently we talked to somebody else about this, like how do you create rhythm during this pandemic? And so I've actually done some things. I kind of now, by default, most of my days start at 7, right? I usually can work out and or, get cleaned up and have breakfast before 9. I'll meet online and I'll make sure there's a 12 to 1 or some kind of break. I'll move that around. And then we have regular things like tonight, there's a happy hour that you can get invited to at 5 and on Wednesdays and Fridays at 5. So I create these regular things in my schedule. Those things help me keep me grounded, or they keep me remember where I'm at. And so those are things that you should do. Rhythm is actually really important. For a lot of people, actually, I looked in the responses, asked for team building things. Building a rhythm with your team is actually really important. So like Cheryl, you say you would do an art program. You should think about opening and closing your program exactly the same. It should become a signature of you and your company, right? And that you do these things. And people are looking for these little bits of ritual because everything is changing every day, right? Protocol, standards, phases, whatever you want to do. So if you can just be this island of stability, that's another way for you to help create an engaging virtual meeting that people want to be at. Does that help, Teresa?
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank
Okay,
you.
great. Let's see. If anybody else has not gone, please say your name if you want to go. Now, Zoe, do we got a good chance? I think we have at least everybody who has replied, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to move on and we'll hopefully engage you again later. So let's, so this is again an example of engage and interact with every attendee. And you can see, even though we have 21 people online, we got a chance to engage everybody, or at least give them the opportunity to share with that. And you'll notice a difference between that versus me just talking through 60 minutes. So let's just do something fun here. Now we're going to go on to the G in engage, and the G stands for good looks. Take a look at this, and anybody just unmute your mic and say your name and let me know if you have something you see in this diagram and what it means to you. Now let me tell you the backstory before you start, is that this person had their camera turned 180 degrees with their desk. They were pointing at a window, which meant they turned into a black silhouette. They had 2 lace curtains that his amazing wife chose out, and that's what his backdrop was before. He saw one of my live casts like this, and he made it to change it to this. Okay, great. Now that we've done that, what do you see and what does it mean to you? Just unmute and say your name.
Vicky.
Vicky, go ahead.
The stock exchange, I don't know if that's his company or he's a stockbroker, but I'm guessing he's in the financial world.
Good, financial world. The stock is Lyft, but it is not his. But good catch. Okay, one other thing. Anybody else? Cheryl, go ahead.
It looks really organized.
Oh, it looks organized. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot, because if I want to do business with someone, I want to make sure that what they promise me they deliver, and in order to deliver that, you have to be organized.
Yes, excellent. Let's take one more. Anybody else? Cecilia.
Yeah, he's positioning himself as a strategic consultant.
Oh, look at that, Cecilia. Are you a consultant too, Cecilia?
Sort of.
Oh, wait, kids, watch this. Okay, watch this. Okay, so let me decode his background, right? Chess set here on the right, if you missed it. Chess set, to me, it said, oh, maybe a gamer, maybe strategic. Somebody else also said smart. His Rolex, his suit, he's clean shaven, a suit but no tie. This guy's ready for business, okay? C-SPAN is what's here in the background. C-SPAN, his inspiration, he said, was a newsroom. He's got books over here. If you didn't notice the book, the title of the book says, Do One Thing Every Day That Scares You. That tells me he's a courage person, right? Or values courage. Also, I looked up this book on Amazon. If you have a sold out first edition of this book, it's worth $1,000 now. 1,000. He's got his notepad and his phone. This is the only piece of technology. Lastly, he's got a journal here, an analog journal with a pen. But here's the key: no computer. There's almost no hint of a computer. What he did was put a table in front of his desk and put his laptop on it and angled the camera so you could see the front of the desk. And now what happens, he starts the meeting and it shows an empty version of this. Then he walks in and sits in, and it's almost the exact same experience as if somebody sat you in his office and then he walked in and met you. He's the chief revenue officer for a fast-growing consulting company. Cecilia nailed it on the head. And he's talking to Fortune 100s all the time, trying to sell them on stuff. And he says this helped his sales go up a measurable amount after he changed to this. I show this as an example. Now, this may not be you. It may not be your style. But what I can tell you is that this is very creative. Right? The ability to show, like, he has no hint of technology. And his thing is, I just want to build a relationship with you. I don't want to have the coolest technology. I just want to build a relationship with you, right? And that's what a great chief revenue officer does. So anyway, so those are great pieces inside of there. Speaking of which, let's move on to what I call the second most powerful tool in virtual meetings. Go to that chat window. Go to the chat window and now chat some things that you can do to improve your background, things that you can improve your own background. While you do that, I'm going to talk about chat. I tell people, show the chat window early, like right after you start presenting, show the chat window as early as possible and encourage people to use it when others are speaking. So after you're done chatting your tip for your own background, you might want to do some networking here too. So Zoe, if you can chat my LinkedIn profile, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, and if others want to share their LinkedIn profiles, we can do a little bit of networking. So I believe it really helps extrovert get your ideas out. So if you're an extrovert, you're in a 21-person meeting, you're like, can I raise my hand? Can I say something else? But there's a limited amount of airtime. So instead of doing that, you can just go to the chat room and start that. I chat in a lot of other people's meetings a lot, and quite often I find people that I network with and I want to meet, and it's not the speaker, it's somebody else who I'm talking to in chat. Chat also helps the introverts. They get ideas after listening, right? So there's creativity and engagement. Excellent. I see better lighting. Glenn, have multiple cameras to access. Kurt says better camera. These HD cameras, Cheryl just got a brand new HD camera, so if she looks clear and amazing, it's because she's clear and amazing. Okay, so meanwhile, now we're going to do the G, get productive with virtual tools. So I'm going to put you in 3 breakout rooms. So I'm going to mute a few people here just so I can get alphabetically a list. And what we're going to do is Zoe's going to chat 3 links. And I'm going to put you in 3 different breakout rooms. I'll tell you which link to click in just a second. 3 links to click in just a second. Once you get to that link, if you can edit that document, you can share them. Please, each of our leaders will ask one of you to share your screen. You're going to have about 8 minutes to write a poem about engaging virtual meetings. Write a poem. So here are the rules. And how else could we share the rules but in a poem itself? Rhyming is the name of the game. Don't forget to start with your name. Make sure everyone has a turn and add as many lines as you can before you adjourn. Don't be shy, be proud. Pick a friend to read it aloud. So what this means is your poem has to rhyme. Every line that you write, start with your name so we know who wrote it, right? Make sure that everybody in your group has a chance to write a line. And then if you have more time, then keep writing lines as much as possible. Excellent. Don't be shy, be proud. Oh, and if you are the facilitator for the group, like the one sharing your screen, you need to pick somebody before the end of 8 minutes. So I'm going to put you in breakout rooms while we do that. And so, good. Zoe, can you rechat those links with a 1 and a 2 and a 3 on it, please? Thank you very much. And we're going to break into 3 rooms. And we're going to do this. A 1 and a 2 and a 3. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Debbie Ann, you're going to be in the first room. Everybody A to C First name, A to C. So April, Austin, Catherine, Cecilia, Sarah, Cheryl, and Chris. Click link 1. Click link 1. Okay, in the second room, Zoe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Darlisa, Glenn, Kurt, Lauren, and Lauren. The two Laurens. Okay, you're going to be in room. You're going to click link 2. Click link 2. And now Nolan, Teresa, Terry, Tracy, and Vicky. Click link 3. Okay, great. So everyone's assigned. Does anybody have any questions before we go? Zoe?
Which room am I again?
You are going to be in room 2.
Okay.
Debbie Ann is in room 1. Any other questions? Okay. 8-minute timer will begin now. See you. Okay. Hi. Who has the link up and can edit? Oh, Vicky. All right. Vicky, would you like to attempt to share your screen?
Sure. I'm not sure I can edit, but let's try it. Can I share screen?
We believe in you.
This is my.
Excellent.
There we go.
So this is like the introduction of a new tool. Oh, wow. Look at this.
Oh, I've lost you.
Uh-oh.
I can hear you. I just can't see you. Now
Yeah.
I can see you.
Oh, okay, great. So you can remove these lines here on 3. So see the start writing here?
Yeah.
Everything below that you can remove. And so now for those of you, if you click the link,
edit.
you can edit. Okay, good, great.
Yep.
Okay. So, and again, if you can't edit, there are different ways for you to contribute. So, Vicky, you are now in control for the next 6.5 minutes.
Rhyming isn't. Oh, so I have to write a line. Okay.
Yes.
Next. Do I have to call on somebody? All right. Tracy, you're next. Oh.
I am not seeing where you edited. I only see the original document that still had the initial names and lines.
Yeah, Tracy, on the top right, there's usually a button that says edit. See up here on hers, I think it says editing. You might want to see if you can click that button and you'll start to get updates.
Okay, I see it now.
Ah, there we go. So look, what this is called annotation. I can do draw tools here. I should probably do black here. There we go, so you can see it. So if you didn't see my chat at 6 minutes, right? I said you had to write a poem. I didn't say you had to do it silently.
And I think we can do, not every line has to rhyme with every other one. So, right, we can do 2 lines rhyme. We can do, yeah. No pressure, though.
I'm feeling pressure here. I don't know about anybody else.
That's what I was trying to say. You don't have to rhyme with the A sound. You could probably start a new sound if we do couplets.
Ooh, couplets.
Couplets. What are couplets? So.
2-line rhymes.
Nolan's going to break out some iambic pentameter right after his counseling.
I almost started like limerick style.
Nobody's done haiku yet, though. Nobody's done haiku. But that's the key here, Nolan, is I'll give you the little side lesson here, which is like I said it had to rhyme. I didn't tell you how it had to rhyme.
Right.
So maybe Teresa now will have release the Kraken. Yeah. That's our Seattle joke for our NHL team has been called the Kraken. Great job. Let's see. So Vicky, Nolan, Tracy, Teresa. We're just Terry too needs a line, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Okay, great.
Ta-da.
Terry, then John, and then we'll get everybody.
Let's see. We got a lot of people too. Hi, Bob Bonial, Michael Pachuta from EO Detroit, Ken Weisner, who was with us earlier today, Brian Calvert,
Why am I
Cindy
not
Ryu.
seeing
One of our. Did you know that she was the first Korean American mayor in America? Thank you for timing. Women in government use surveys to break up the cadence and keep attendees feel like they're involved. Wow. Wow. George Myers. We just did a program on psychological safety. Jody Gibson and Jen Graves. Oh, Jen Graves is one of our frontline workers, VP nurse. Amazing, amazing woman. Myron Saddleback. Hello. Okay, back to you guys. Oh, 3 minutes remaining. Oh my gosh, I'm missing all my marks. I'm having too much fun with you people.
So I'm seeing
You have
seven.
anyways.
Who's geo-teaming? Is that you, John?
Yeah, another back trip is we use a monitor. So I logged in another computer. And so one is I can see what it looks like to everyone else, so I can prevent a mistake. Number two is this is where I'm looking up. I actually have all of you on video up here when I share my screen. So that way I don't have to look off to the side, because that's one of the challenges I had, is looking off to the side.
And it also keeps you looking in the direction of the camera, right, John?
What's that?
That also keeps you looking at the camera.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm looking
next time
up a
John.
little bit. It's better than this, right? This is I'm very disconnected to you, and I do have to peek that way. But this way, I can actually, and if I lean this way, I can look this way and look straight through the camera and actually get to you.
Nice.
It's a very useful trick. So those who don't know, it's I sometimes use up to 8 screens.
Wow.
When I present, and you need training though.
I thought I was adept at using 4, 8. That's impressive.
Thank you very much.
So John, are you going to do your line, or are we?
Oh yeah, I can do a line. And Vicky, make sure you add our last piece, which is make sure you have a reader.
Oh, okay. Does anyone want to volunteer to be the reader?
I can volunteer Tracy.
That's voluntold.
Voluntold. All right.
Super voluntold.
I'll take it. All right.
Wow.
So add as many lines as you can. Oh, okay. So I'll add another.
We're supposed to be going.
Now it's free for all, I think. Let's see.
Okay, we're down to our last minute, by the way.
Poem. Use the test. Okay, someone else add a line. Quick. Like a bunny.
45 seconds. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi.
Welcome to the party.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Cindy. Look at Cindy's still on. Eye contact in a meeting is important, but super important on Zoom and other virtual meetings. Totally. Like this. I actually have people who put eyes or sometimes characters around their camera to remind them, make emphatic points here. You don't have to stare at all the time, because we never present like this. It's weird, right? But every so often come back around and really connect with the audience. And it's a great tip. It's definitely a great tip to use. Thank you, Cindy Ryu. Man, Cindy, I want to interview you. You're amazing. Like, I've gotten a chance to meet Cindy on some other Asian American things that I've done here in Seattle, but I love that she's an astute. So, okay, go ahead and okay, we're gonna start here.
Oh, you didn't see our pose, John.
Here comes everybody.
You didn't see our pose.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't teach pose today. I'm trying to keep us on time. Okay, let's do this. Vicky, who's going to read? Who got voluntold?
Tracy was voluntold.
Okay, so let's start there, Tracy, and then the other people get ready to share their screen after we're done with this. But Tracy, go ahead.
Do I say the names or just the lines?
Just the line.
Today is a wonderful day. We get to learn and get to play. A chance to feel like things are okay. Thrive and grow is the objective of the day. To engage attendees in a different way. That virtual is here to stay. This poem is a test showing that we will try our best, better than the rest. So much to say, not much left. We'll be back. Don't be bereft.
Let's give everyone a round of applause. Excellent. For those who, again, we sometimes, if you're on mute, this is sign language for applause. So this is also highly acceptable as applause. Let's go ahead and put your hands next to your head. And let's give our team 1 or team 3 or whatever our team is. We're the main room team. Okay. Meanwhile, let's go back to, let's go to Zoe. Zoe, who's going to read for your team?
Great.
Okay. Vicky, if you can unshare, please.
Sorry, I have to find the right screen here.
That's always the challenge. Let me know if you want help. I can do it.
I have a million.
Yeah, you might have to because I'm not.
Okay, here we go.
Right.
I got it. Okay. Sorry, Zoe, who's going to read for your team?
Kurt?
I am.
Kurt, can you share your screen, or someone on your team share your screen?
Yes, Darlisa, you're on.
Okay, Darlisa, share. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Engaging in your virtual meetings can be fun. You can get there on time and not have to run. Glenn is in the virtual den. You need a screen, not a pen. We'll start this stream on the count of 10. If you're shy, chat is your friend. Don't worry, this poem will end. Don't forget to unmute your mic, and then these meetings you will like. I'm an engineer, and I can build a dike.
All right, let's give a round of applause for Zoe's team. Thank you so much, Zoe's team. Last but not least, let's head to Debbie Ann Schneider. Debbie Ann Schneider, who's your reader today?
Chris is going to read our poem.
Okay, Chris, do you want to, does someone on your team share your screen, whoever shared?
I could share it, or Chris. It's up to
Go
you.
ahead, Debbie.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Debbie Ann, and whenever the share comes up. Oh, here we go. Okay, are you ready, Chris?
Yeah. Cheryl said, say everyone's name. Debbie Ann says, going to know each other is the name of the game. April says, take no shame. We got it in the end. As a team, we shared and send. Cecilia says, be sure to mute your sound. Chris says, if you're able to mute your sound, you can hear your leader and your wisdom will be found. Catherine will need better lighting. Says we need better lighting. Chris says, with better lighting, you can see which of your staff is fighting. Cheryl says, when your meeting is said and done. April says, it's time to have fun. Chris says, you'll be happy as can be full of sun. As you'll be full of sun.
Excellent. Let's give Debbie Ann's a round of applause. Debbie Ann's team a round of applause. Thank you, Chris. Excellent. Debbie Ann, can you stop share, please? Thank you so much.
Sure.
And let's close this. Thank you so much. So hopefully you got that as an example of getting work done. And actually on my team, I made the astute observation here that our team wrote that entire last 6 lines in less than the last 60 seconds. So talk about like accelerating, going slow to go fast. They finally figured out that they could simultaneously edit, and you can get a lot more meeting done, a lot more work done. Now, other pieces here about never lead a meeting alone. So let me just show you one of the items that we have here is that Zoe's been working very hard on something that looks like this. Has anybody in here in this group used a participation map before? A participation map? Anyone? Bueller? So this is the cool part, right? This is one of the top things that a producer can do is that you have a participation map. And it could be as simple as a piece of paper, or it can be as complex as an Excel spreadsheet. Everyone who's in attendance, Zoe's really looking at how are you participating, right? How are you participating? And who is either participating too much or who's not participating enough. And so this is one of the ways that we can keep track and keep a meeting engaging and do this. So I've been doing this now for 20 years using participation maps. And you started using them during teleconference calls when I couldn't see you. And so this is one of the key ways to keep people engaged with this is to use a participation map. So it's one of the key tips in terms of how to engage people. So now my goal again was to get 100% retention for the word engage. So if you can just shout out the keywords, you can unmute now and see if you can shout out the keyword for each of the letters. We're going to start with the letter E. What's the keyword for E?
Engage.
Engage. I feel like Captain Kirk. Engage. Or I guess that's Picard. Engage and interact with every attendee. Good. That's the E. Now, what's the N stand for?
Never
Never leave a meeting alone.
alone.
Oh, look at that. Teamwork, or at least I think and Nolan at the same time. Maybe Lauren. Never lead a meeting alone. Exactly. Now, and it's interesting. I was going to point out, somebody was saying, how can I do Zoom alone? You can Zoom alone. You just got to take on a lot of work. And if you want to stay in after hours, by the way, I'll stay here up to 30 minutes afterwards or so afterwards if you have extra questions we didn't get to. Okay, G, what's the G in Engage stand for?
Good looks.
Good luck.
Oh, thank you so much. I look amazing, right? No, the G stands for good looks. You know, if you're going to show up here on virtual, look great as much as possible, right? Lights, whatever setting, make it pleasant. Sometimes it's not for you, it's for the other person, especially if you're a presenter. Good looks. What's the A stand for in Engage?
Air traffic.
Air traffic control.
Yes.
Audio.
First one, air traffic control. Exactly. So yeah, control the air inside of here. It's, look, we have 20 people in this meeting, and it's been a great conversation, I think, with so many people. And that's one of the ways that you do it. A simple air traffic control can really help your meeting out. What's the next G stand for?
Get productive.
Get productive.
Get productive with virtual tools. Again, get productive with virtual tools. Excellent. And last but not least, what's the E?
End
your meeting on a high note.
Oh my goodness, we're going to do that. End your meeting on a high note. This seems to be like the one with 100% retention. Thank you so much. Speaking of a high note, let me tell you a couple things now. Number one, you're a graduate of Engaging Virtual Meetings 1. Applause, 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 applause. Debbie Ann, applause. Catherine, applause. Let's see. Okay, great. There we go. So if you come to Engaging Virtual Meetings 2, which we had this morning, which was awesome, you'll learn 10 new ways to make your virtual meetings engaging in just 60 minutes. You're going to learn the third most powerful meeting engagement tool. All right. And then you're going to learn more about this, how to get those quiet attendees and everyone else to engage inside of the meetings. That's what we put inside of 2. Zoe's going to chat you a discount code because it's normally $59.99. That's what is listed on the site now. But because you've come to 1, right, it's half the price, $29.99, and it's going to include. So I actually finished the manuscript for this book called Engaging Virtual Meetings. The book is literally a tome. It's around Zoom, but it, also too for those who are on Teams. Most of the stuff applies to Teams and has some team-specific information. That's really what I tried to key into there. It's good. I just submitted manuscript. It'll due out fall of 2020. So you get the seminar now, and it's like you're getting the book for free. So you get the book for free when it comes out in the fall. Last but not least, I'm going to show you another Get Productive tool. If you don't know how to save the chat, go to the 3 dots at the end. You can save the chat. And today, we're going to do this. Last word, if you have a piece of paper and a marker, get a piece of paper and a marker. We're going to do a speed version of end your meeting on a high note. What did you get from your investment in an hour today? What did you get from your investment? So go ahead and write a word or a phrase, a picture. Hopefully you have your cameras on. If you have a virtual backdrop on, just know you got to hold it in front of your body, or you need to turn off your virtual background. Give me a thumbs up if you have your word ready. I'm ready whenever you are. 1, 2. Keep your hand up so I can see. Cheryl, yes. Tara, yes.
I have to get a marker.
Catherine, yes. Got to get a marker. Surprise, good. April, yes. We're almost there. I'll give like a couple more seconds for Cheryl. Excellent. We're almost there. Tracy is working on hers, I know. Thank you. I got you, Cecilia. Okay, you can put your hands down. Let's go.
Here.
All right, Cheryl, you got a second? You ready? Yeah. Okay, ready. All right, so on 3, put your signs up and hold your signs up. Hold on a sec. Let me bring this down. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, let's see. Vicky said tagline. Tracy said, Tracy, move it very close to your screen. Nolan said a new structure. Oh, yeah, knowledge. Very good. Terry says ideas. Oh, I think he means ideas. Cheryl says ideas. You're next to each other. Cecilia says, find my zone. I love that. Glenn says participation. Devianne says engagement. Darlisa says activity. Chris says bye. Oh, before and after, the meeting before and after. Lauren, do you have a sign perhaps? Catherine said energy. April says virtual tools. Lauren, do you guys want to give us something? You can chat it, or you can also not just say it on audio. Excellent. The rest of you can put your signs down.
Yeah, don't make engineers write poems.
We'll just make you build ducks.
Good. We're not very good.
I second that.
Lauren, do you guys have a like something that you feel like you got out of today, though, besides the don't make engineers write poems?
A lot.
back of it. A lot. A
A lot.
lot.
Excellent. Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead now and let's wave goodbye to our Facebook Live audience. Everyone wave. Everyone waving. Catherine is waving. 3, 2, 1. Okay, good. Okay, cool. So thank you so much. We are off air now. I appreciate that. And but most of all, thank you for being here. If you want to, we're kind of in the after hours now. So if there's anything that you feel like you also got, or if there's any additional questions that you have, feel free to stay. Of course, it's 2:30 if you need to go. It's 2:30 Pacific Standard Time. If you need to go, I totally understand. You could do that now. So invite those who need to log off. They could do so. So let's
John,
see.
thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Good to
thank
see
you for all your.
Thank you. Yes.
So by Glenn, I think Glenn again has to log off. Okay, who else? Cecilia, do you need to go? Or do you have a question?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Thanks, John. I really enjoyed it, and I'm signing up for your number 2 session. I want to ask you, I noticed that you have this really fancy microphone, and do you feel that we need to invest in the right audio equipment? I've already invested in lighting. I find that my audio should be okay off the computer, but I was really noticing the high quality of your sound.
Thank you, Cecilia. A lot of people ask about my mic. Zoe, do you have the mic link? Yes, so she's going to put it in the chat. And so this is an iRig HD2 mic. This and the Yeti, I can definitely recommend. I battle tested this mic after the last 3 years, and I've gotten comments too where I've emceed and participated in multiple conferences, and people come back to me just serendipitous like you did. They're like, "What's that mic? He sounds so good. Why? What is it?"
Yeah.
And if you are a presenter, it matters. Those of us who know who were singers, right, would matter. But those who are professional speakers know your stuff matters. And I think it does. It matters even more because there are so many mics that are built into computers. You sound what I call tinny, which is all high range, right? This is the first mic that gets those low range or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? So I can do those things, and I can also do whisper tricks, right? Cheryl. Most of the mics won't be able to do that, and so I do really believe that it matters, and the person matters too. And what I mean by that, Cecilia, don't get the mic unless you really learn how to use it, right? I picked this mic specifically. It's a stick format, so if I wanted to, I could actually hold this mic right. Without a holder, right, and use it like a regular microphone from speaking. For those who are professional speakers, you might feel familiar again, right, using a handheld mic and doing that. And so that's one of the other reasons that I use this mic. But I highly believe it does. And there have been other articles I've read where meeting planners say, they say pay for the best audio for your speakers. If they don't know how to do it, pay for it because it's going to add to your conference. It's going to add to your meeting and add to your conference. Debbie Ann also does Zumba, so she knows how much music and mics matter, right, Debbie Ann?
Yes, I was wondering if you use that mic for karaoke once in a while.
So Debbie Ann was talking about 2 settings. Yeah, I have a complete downstairs setup that's set up for live karaoke, and the reason why it works and it's different is that we use one of these mics, but we actually project the music and a PA system for the live singer. So my house every Saturday night at 9 o'clock sounds like a karaoke bar, but it sounds like a karaoke bar to you too, because I have probably the most advanced setup of anybody that's online. And so you get back to that feel though, because the music is so loud, therefore you have to sing loud. So it just kind of like as a feedback loop. This mic has been great for it though. If you set it up the right way with the right settings, you can get music and other loud instruments to sound amazing. So those are some of our audio tricks. Let's go to April.
Hey, John. You started to give us directions on how to copy the chat.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to do that before I signed off because you provided some good links there, and I wanted to make sure I got it.
There you go. So I know we went a little fast. So that's me also trying to make meetings end on time, right? Is that as a facilitator, I'm always adjusting to the time, right? In these bigger classes, sometimes we got to move a little faster. So I'm always deciding what can I either cut or I might have to move a little fast through. Anyways, the instructions here are the 3 little dots. First you click chat, and in your chat window, you hit the 3 little dots. You hit save. And if you're like me, sometimes you have no idea where it saved it to. Click this button, show in folder, and it will open up the folder so you know exactly where the file is before you take off. Does that help, April?
I don't have those three little buttons.
Oh,
so I'm
are you on a
doing-
phone or an iPad?
No, I'm on a Dell.
It would be in the chat area. I just chat to everybody. The three dots that are to the right, right next to the word file in the chat.
I don't have it.
So that's okay. So here, I'm gonna give you an aid. Let's see if I can do it. I've already downloaded the chat. I'm gonna upload the chat again, so it's gonna come as a file.
Oh, good.
Give me 1 second while I get to it.
You definitely want to figure out where this is though, because it's so helpful. I take attendance in all my classes with the chat.
Yeah.
So if it says everyone in the chat box, and then you type your message below that, to the right it says file, and there's three little dots.
I see the to everyone, and then I have my cursor in the box where it says type message here.
And go
And
all
then
the way
there's
to the
nothing to the
right.
right of that.
It should
There's nothing to
be-
the right of it.
It should be to the right of where everyone is, above the chat box.
This file.
Yeah, now watch. I'm gonna screen capture what I see.
Cool.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So here, I'm almost done sharing with you. So you can share. So this is one of the things to hear too. It's like knowing your platforms and having screenshots for multiple platforms is really helpful. And then sometimes you discover, again, different platforms have different things. Sometimes you just need to see. So you can, I think you can't, it's difficult to see the chat screen. So yes, we need a screenshot of it. But meanwhile, I'm about to chat the file because I just got it. Zoom. And 729.
Bless you. Thank you.
729, 1437.
Well,
There we
I
go.
can't paste the screenshot. Oh well.
Okay, I got it for you. See that? Chat files in the chat. That was recursive. Chat file in the chat. Do I get to? How about?
I have a dumb question.
Yeah.
When we all held up our words, mine was the only one that showed up backwards.
Yes.
How do I fix
You
that?
don't want to do that. It shows up forwards to us. So what happens is most of us, you should too, have mirror on. And what happens is, so when I do this in my camera, what happens is it's mirroring me so that my head follows my camera. But like right now, my book to me looks backwards, but is correct for you. So here, I'll show you.
I don't have mirror on, and mine showed up.
It's like the camera is someone looking at you.
Yeah, it's a mirror. So see, mine says Nibkak Revf, which is cabin fever backwards. But you see it correctly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can ignore that. You can ignore that, but just
Okay.
so that you can see. But you can use the framing. So what you saw is like people did this and like, oh, I can only see Binner, right? No, wait. So you want to look in the camera to figure out that you've actually put it in the center.
Catherine, can you hold yours up again?
Yeah, go ahead,
I
Catherine. Hold
want
up
to see
your,
how it shows up. You said you see it backwards?
yeah, energy.
I see it backwards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we see it correctly.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, again, Catherine, no dumb questions here.
Bye, Cecilia. Thank you for joining us.
Bye, Cecilia.
Bye-bye, Cecilia.
So I'm going to have to go also, and I still haven't seen your post of the chat, but
Oh, it's in the chat. Don't you see in the chat? I have a text in the chat.
I see
no, this is so weird.
April, I think you're not seeing some of the dialogue boxes in there, but if you want to call us later, you can do it. But guess what? Let's see. Chat me your email address. I've got an email
Okay.
queue.
I'll put it here for everyone.
Everyone spam April. Spam April.
Believe me, we have firewalls that you would not believe. I'll be
That
surprised
could be
to get
it.
email.
Maybe that's it. Maybe she can't download from that computer.
Very possibly. I know
So-
I used to
so
have a lot of
yes.
trouble with that with people that work from the government.
Yes. So what happens is in April in Zoom accounts, assuming if you got yours from some central agency, whoever bought the account can turn things on and off.
I'm actually just on the browser. That's the way that we kind of got around it. So I'm not in the app.
That's it.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's without downloading the app. Yes, you do not have this feature. And so if you go look online, you can see the difference between loading the app and the feast. Oh my goodness. I haven't thought, I don't know why we didn't think of that. So Zoe, add
So
that to our
there,
list of questions for sure. Yeah. Okay,
that was
good.
our workaround. We have many, many workarounds for the things that we actually need.
Thanks.
Anyway, this was great. Thank you so much, John. You guys have a great evening.
Thank you, April. It's in your inbox. See you later.
All right, bye.
Any other questions?
Bye.
See, isn't it sad? It's like Breakfast Club. Like we're losing people. We're like, don't go, stay, please. And if you feel connected in a meeting like that, right? That's a good sign. Chris, let's go to Chris.
John, first, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. It's neat to see it and nice to see you.
Good to see you too, Chris.
When you talk about virtual tools, are there a top several tools you use for your meetings, whether say you're leading a facilitation or possibly, a keynote, for example, where you might have a presentation slide like I've done. Beyond that, to engage people with virtual tools, like you use that OneNote, you pulled us in, or gave us links to that. Is there other stuff that you can think of that I don't even know that I don't know that I should be thinking about?
Well, number one, you're already using some of them, Chris, right? So number one tool is this audio video channel, right? This is what we're using. And you can actually do a lot with this. I know who you are, Chris. So, the ability to do some of the things that you did, especially with improv and just engage people, use this channel because there's no training. Everybody shows up here. As long as you can get them to turn on their camera, right? See, we won't mention any names. Oh, they're all gone. It's only me. I'm the only person who's not turning on the camera. No, so once you do that, I would use that. The second one is chat, right? If you are not using the chat window, you're missing out, I feel, on the second most engaging tool. And the reason why is because while I'm blabbing away, the rest of you could be having this amazing chat discussion, right? Completely sidebar. So yeah, key pieces like that. So the third one is the breakout rooms.
Right.
And so what I would also look at is, and I wouldn't use breakout rooms early on, although people are now pretty familiar with them, getting more and more familiar with them. So it's a possibility. The best way that Zoom designed it is you're totally in control. And what that means is if you're comfortable with it, you can guide people around and have a good experience with that. But I call it the third most engaging tool because of this. Hopefully you saw it. When you went into your breakout rooms, the dynamics of engaging changed.
Yeah.
Right? When you're with 21 people, you're like, nah, I'm just going to wait, right? Let everyone else have their turn. But when it comes to 7 or 6 or 2, you're just like, oh, well, I'm obligated to talk now. And people that we've seen, who might self-describe themselves as introverts, engage in a breakout room because the dynamic is different. What else? I would go.
So I'll add one last piece. Oh, sure.
Is that use all the tools inside of Zoom before you go outside of Zoom is really the key part. And the reason for that is because they're just easier to access, right? And there's still features that most people don't know about. Let's go back to Vicky.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to add, for those of you who are Teams users, Teams also has breakout rooms. I haven't used it, but I know it's there because I've used it as a participant. So
I've done it. I know how to do it. And like I said, it's not as clean. It's very easy to what we call get lost in space, but it is there and it works and it's pretty cool. And so, but here's a side trick too. I think I'm going to end up using it for another conference I have. We use these physical metaphors. Terry, you'll love this one. We use these physical metaphors like a breakout. So what we do is like if I have a meeting coming up, it has 3 breakouts, right? And what we would do is keep the speaker in the same room because it's harder for the speaker to pull up their laptop and change projectors and blah, blah, blah. So we make all the people move around. But virtual has kind of flipped that around, right? The fact that people have logged in or you maybe moved them to a breakout room or you had them log in somewhere else is really the key. So now it turns out it's easier to move the speaker around. So we've had reversed breakouts, and that's how we solved it, especially in Teams. It works out really well. You just get people to their room, and then you work with the speakers and make sure you have a handler for them to say, okay, log off of that link now, get on this link, right? And there's this window for them to do it. And those types of things where you think about just get it back to the logistics point of view. What's the easiest thing to do? Go and do that. So that's a good example. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, Terry.
Hey, John. So, I've had to do several trainings and retreat type of programs virtually. What do you recommend as far as, we found that, obviously people can only go so long, before you give them some sort of a break. What recommendations do you have on that? different people have different opinions, and so I'm just trying to get a sense of what's the common feeling.
Yeah, that's good, Terry. I think what we're doing is actually there's a couple of us who are compiling formats that we quote unquote felt like it worked. So for instance, one format was a 6-hour day, which is pretty long, but they did it successfully. And here's why they did it. 45 minutes content, 15-minute break. And they, after day one, they really instituted the break, meaning nothing happening during those 15 minutes in some ways. And then the only way they made 6 hours is because there was also a full 1 hour log on. Well, you logged into the next meeting and then you were instructed to walk away, right? They just wanted to see that you got there so they could solve logistical problems, but then, you needed to walk away. So that was a 6-hour format with like 15-minute breaks virtually every hour and a full hour lunch. What are other formats? 4 hours seems to be one of the other key formats right now. And I'm actually designing a conference now. And I'm trying to decide, because I know I have really amazing speakers. Because 45 minutes and 15 is pretty good. But for the speakers I have, I know they can go 60 and be engaging, because that's what they do. That's why they were selected. And so I'm trying to determine between that. What other formats that I've seen? I think 60 is really an attractive format for like one thing like this. But if you can see what I'm doing here, which is it's really 2 hours in disguise. You can log in early, right, if you want. And I tell sometimes in the email said, log in early if you want. And one, it helps with the technology problem. And two is I can do one-on-one consulting there. And then I always plan this 30 minutes afterwards. So you see it gives permission for those who need to go. But for those who don't, right, we get a chance to hang out here a little bit more and get more personalized information. And I think that's important. I also think that this is the part of the meeting here too. You could be doing networking, right? Like now you can ask people other questions like, Cheryl, is that actually a New Orleans painting right behind? Oh, it's the woman with the glasses. What is that?
That's actually a self-portrait.
Oh, it's you. Oh.
Yeah.
Should have known.
I loved it when we first.
I thought it was like Gloria Gaynor or something, or like some other Supremes.
That's just because you were at Gloria Gaynor's house the other day, John.
Anyways, Terry, does that help you at least with some format? Yeah. So the key here is shorter and breaks. So most disaster stories I've heard are people who tried to go exactly from physical to virtual. And I think one of the first guidelines is shorter. Even at 6 hours, I kind of gasped when I first heard it. But as I looked at the schedule, I agreed to it because it's that hour break in the middle. That hour in the break middle means it's just 2-3 hour. It's 2.5 hour sessions going, oh, okay, with breaks. I'm like, I can do that. I can do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Yes,
Just
Debbie.
wondering.
I just
sorry.
wanted to say that if you have control over your sound being good by knowing how to use the computer sounds, that's really important, Chris. I don't know if you use outside sounds, but that's very, very important. Makes it completely different of an experience when you play it through the computer.
Yeah. So if you can play music and you can just share your computer sound only as a new feature on Zoom.
And it lets you talk over it, but it doesn't reverb or.
Yeah, you got to get the leveling right though. That's the hardest because you can't hear it correctly. You really need somebody on the other side to listen it to how an attendee is listening to it to get the levels right. So test it and then don't touch it after that. But music can really add value. I'll get onto the copyright thing though, which is like if you're on Facebook Live like I am, I can't play any copyrighted material. The stream will get cut. So look for, there's lots of royalty-free music, like YouTube has an enormous library, so you can still set mood with it. And I've seen that done effectively. I actually choose not to do it in this particular meeting, but there are definitely places where I use audio. Thanks, Debbie Ann. Let's go back to Cheryl.
Okay.
Cheryl, I thought you had something before Debbie Ann.
Oh, I was going to ask about the second meeting, and I do have a producer. He also happens to be my son.
Yeah.
And we will probably take the meeting from my studio, and I'm just wondering if it's okay for him to sit in on that meeting with me.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you can share a screen, right? With that login too. I mean, if you can separate yourself so you don't have echo, you can also do that, but feel free to do that.
Okay.
So,
Great.
the second piece is, again, really engaging. You'll get some things that you can definitely bring. Especially, again, I haven't seen your program, but I'm guaranteed there's probably something that you want to use inside of that program.
Okay. With that, I'm going to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Look forward to talking to you soon.
Same thing here, John. I just want to say thanks again. I look forward to the second level, man.
Say hi to our good friend for me.
I will.
Okay.
Much love.
Bye. Anybody else?
I had a quick question. I think on I want to share this session or enrollment in this session with my boss.
Yes, please.
Do I just go to the GOT meme page on Eventbrite, or what's the best way to share? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Zoe, do you want to reach out? I don't know if you can reach out engagingvirtualmeetings1.eventbrite.com.
Let me figure that out.
You can also, you can chat
looks like there's
gmeeting.com/EVM.
Oh, share with friends. Here we go.
We appreciate when everybody shares, because when the book hits, it's going to be overwhelming, and we're going to be much happier to serve people now in the smaller groups, because they get John too.
Yeah,
well,
Tracy,
and it'll help if he and I share a common language too about
absolutely.
And
Yeah,
another guy on the team. Yeah.
I did chat the link too if you need it.
Thank
If
you.
anyone
Great.
else
Thank
needs
you.
it.
Yeah, Tracy and Nolan are here because one of my good friends and again one of my past mentors, Dr. Lee Gillis at Georgia College, recommended it. He came and teched it himself, and I appreciate that because I know he's like me. He doesn't chat. He doesn't share something unless he thinks it's good. So appreciate that. Nolan, I haven't heard anything from you. Do you got anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I was going to add, I was in a meeting right before this with a group of faculty, trying to figure out what we're going to be doing in the next few weeks when we get there for classes, like Tracy and I are doing. And I know, I believe Lee's already talked to you about sharing contact information, maybe doing something kind of on a larger scale. But I'm going to encourage Lee, if it's okay with you, to send out your class information to folks that are already interested in it, because again, we start classes in a couple of weeks. So is that okay?
The more time you have to practice and implement and figure out what works for you. So this is the other thing I tell people a lot. You got to make this content your own. To be a great instructor or facilitator or whatever that you're doing, you got to make this content your own. And so if you try and do things exactly the way that I do them, but they're not you, your students will know.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna, sorry, that's just how it is. And I've seen it. I've seen some of my past students come back. They were Facebook Living some stuff, and I looked at them. They're like, "Oh wow, he's trying to do something that I tried to do." I'm like looking, and I'm like, "Oh, that's not exactly how I did it." Right? And so, yeah, you'll get that. I mean, working with audiences like now, this is why doing a lot of these classes too. My skills have gone skyrocketing because the ability to work with so many different kind of people has really, really, really helped me. So, Debbie Ann.
John, I'm wondering if they could get you in front of somebody that would make their job easier, because it's going to be, I'm sorry to say this, I know you guys are great teachers, and then probably you've adapted that you're great online, but to do both, it's like they're asking you to juggle and walk and talk and look at virtual problems and mental health and everything else. I think that they should actually get you guys a facilitator, like you would have a teacher's helper or support in a live class if there was a lot of stuff going on. But I think the person that would be able to maybe help facilitate that would be John, unless they want to pay you guys double or triple, that would be good.
Yeah.
They should do that.
Isn't that why we got into this, Tracy? It was for all the big bucks. That's right.
Yeah, right. I work in schools too. In schools too, but I'm I'm never getting back into a school, I don't think.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I work with, go ahead, Nolan.
I'm just saying that has been discussed, at least on an informal level. Like the meeting I was in earlier, we were talking about having students kind of step into that role. But, for me, that's a disservice to the student because they're there for the purpose of learning, and you're asking them to serve as a producer, and that's just a disservice to them. So, but it is possible for some classes, like Tracy and I, if we chose, we could collaborate on something. We could help each other out, especially if it wasn't for every day, we could at least do it for special class meetings. And that's something I'm going to put forward to make sure Lee announces to the department that we can help each other out through that role. So.
Meeting as a team like that, you'll learn a lot producing. When you are not the facilitator or the teacher and you're producing, you can see things. Like right now, like Zoe and Debbie Ann can see and do things that I can't do when I'm presenting.
Right.
And it's really useful because usually, even if you're not a great producer, it will make you a better presenter. And the reason why is because you know now what specifically you want from your producer.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you can ask for it. And so that's why we're talking to the other person who said, didn't you love that, Zoe? I want my own Zoe. It was like, that's the greatest. We're
Greatest
gonna
compliment.
Yeah, I know you need a sticker, right? Or a t-shirt. I want my own Zoe. But I'm saying that's what, to be a great teammate as the facilitator, you need to know what you want to ask your producer. And sometimes you don't know what to ask for until you become a producer going, oh, I can ask for that and that and that and that. And yeah.
Right.
So, and then working on those plans. So something else that we do in our 3 that we did today is you work on a plan together. So you have your marks, right? This the facilitator is doing this, right? This is where the producer does this. And so you have the what, at least it was what's supposed to happen. And just that talking out between the two of you helps you make a better lesson plan. Right.
Well, like everybody else, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for everybody else for all of your roles as well. And that's very helpful too, learning about the possibility of having a producer and having somebody else to help facilitate. Because it's just like when, John, when when you co-lead groups, like with Lee, it helps to not only to have Lee, but, to have a Lee, but also to be able to, work off one another. So.
Well, perfect. Well, I got to head off too. So we're going to say depart. And everyone, thank you so much. For the rest of my team, I'll see you guys at
Bye,
5.
y'all. Thank y'all so much.
And
I need to talk to you, John, for a second.
Okay. Excellent. So let's see. We'll have everyone else.
Bye.
Right off. Bye, Zoe. I do have a meeting, and it's here, so we can hang out if you want. I have another meeting.
Get rid of Zoe. That guy Kenny from this morning.
Yes.
He wants a book instead of being paid for the Zag culture, and so I said, well, he said, well, maybe I could I didn't get the information to John how I got paid. And I said, this is how we usually get paid, through one of the regular lines of being paid. And he goes, do you think I could get a book? I go, how about a signed book and you have a deal? So he said, deal. So that's good. We sold the book. And he is very interested in doing something with you. So get back in touch with him.
I already did. I mailed him. I'm going to work on an agreement later tonight or this afternoon
good.
for him.
And also, I was telling everybody in there that they could have their own Zoe. Basically, that's a great name for it.
Yes.
You what?
Yes. Oh, I'm just saying, when it came from our audience, I think that's great.
When it came from our audience, and then what I was saying to them was, you can have your own, whether you take your person or then John can train them, or you can get somebody that's already trained, right? But I think the greatest name for it is a Zoe.
Yeah.
Because like Alexa.
Yeah. If you want to stay on the next call, it's going to be a sales call.
Oh, sure.
There's a follow-up to an email I sent you in May about what your fee would be to hold a few sessions for our faculty engaged in students.
So, John, I really think you would do the greatest service to those teachers, and I'm going to tell you why. Because they're not ones that are able to fight for themselves for money, and you could either get them help and get them Zoes, or you can get them anything that they need. I don't think they're 99% of them don't have the personality to fight for themselves.
Yeah, the Lee's though is the leader in their department. Okay, cool. I'm gonna have you hang out here. I'm gonna turn. Oh, she's in the waiting room. So I'm gonna need a short bio break. So I'm gonna have you talk. I'm gonna say hi and then run to the restroom and see. Yeah.
My sunburn is so weird from yesterday from my helmet.
For your bike trip.
I got a helmet line.